I've been fighting battles nobody ever knew. Crying in the midnight, asking God what I should do. My heart was heavy, and I could barely lift my head. But even when I felt alone, His mercy never left. People that I trusted walked away without a sound. I had to lean on God just to stay on solid ground. I thought the pain would break me, thought I'd fall and disappear. But in the darkest place, He pulled me close and wiped my fear. I was hurting and shaking, but His grace kept me from breaking. Every scar became a story of the way He fought for me. I survived what was meant to break me. Every weapon that was formed couldn't take me. I'm still standing even when the hurt tried to change me. He stepped in every time the darkness chased me. I walked through the fire and came out shining. Storms tried to drown me, but I kept rising. I survived what was meant to.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sisters Haven Podcast. I am so excited about tonight. Glad to be back on. We have a very special guest, and I'm just excited about what she will share and bring to our awareness concerning probation and parole, the important role that probation and parole plays within our communities. Let us get into it. We're going to open up in prayer, and then we'll get started. Father, we thank you tonight. We bless your name. I give you all the glory, all the honor rightfully due you. It has been an incredible day, and I thank you for it now. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for preserving us. Thank you, Lord, for protecting us. Thank you for providing for us. Most importantly, thank you for loving us on tonight. So, Father, I pray that you would bless this conversation, bless this discussion that we're about to enter into. In Jesus' precious name, amen and amen. Tonight, I have a special guest, actually one of my coworkers. We actually do training. We actually train together in a certain subject matter, and I'm just glad that she accepted the invitation. Her name is Carla Johnson. She has been an officer, probation officer with 10 years experience in security and mental health. She began her career with the Department of Corrections in 2022 before transitioning into her current role in probation. Her work focuses on balancing accountability with rehabilitation and supporting individuals as they pursue meaningful long-term change. Over the years, she has developed a strong passion for mentorship, leadership development, and foster honest conversations about growth, responsibility, and second chances. Please welcome tonight, Miss Carla Johnson. Hi. Good evening. Welcome, ma'am. We are so excited to have you on board. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely. So, before I dive into the questions that I actually want to ask you, let's start out this way. Why corrections, and what caused you to shift to probation and parole? Well, why security, and what caused you to shift to probation and parole?
All right. So just a slight background. Security actually runs in my family. So I followed kind of behind the footsteps of my uncle. He retired from the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. So that tickled my interest to want to get into security. I didn't want to quite be a police officer, but I knew I wanted to do something within public safety. So I took a dive into security first. And before that, it was mental health. Coming straight out of high school, it was mental health for me. And that was different. And then I took a dive into the security. Okay. And going into corrections, I chose that route more so because it to me it was a combination of mental health mixed with security. So I started there, and as I would work the pods, I would kind of sit on the floor and ask questions. I would, try to get into their mindset and try to shift their way of thinking. And sometimes I would think to myself, maybe probation and parole would be best for me because working on the floor, that's a different, that's something different by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Being careful and cautious because you don't want to stay on the floor too long and look like you're congregating. But at the same time, it intrigued me, just to want to challenge their way of thinking and then tapping in and listening to some of the conversations that they would share. And it would trigger me a little because I would think to myself that, maybe this individual could have had, a different life if they would have
Mm-hmm.
had certain things or certain people in their life to lead them in a different direction. So that led me to probation. And here I am.
I'm glad you shared that because sometimes people tend to stereotype correctional staff from their what's portrayed through movies. Um, um, they tend to think that we're in there and everybody's rough handling their loved ones and we have no rules, no regulations. We just treat them in an old kind of way. But you know what? It's good and it's a positive thing to run across staff that actually have a concern, a care in their duties and what it is that they were hired to do. You know what I'm saying? I know for me, I always thought, that could be my son, that could be my daughter. So you want to be careful in how you treat them. And if nothing else, they are what? Human beings just as well.
Absolutely.
And they're worthy of being treated as such. All right, ma'am. Great response. Great response. Let's move on. Tell me, what role do probation and parole serve in supporting successful reentry?
Oh boy.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, reentry starts while they're incarcerated through the
Okay.
different programming and different services that are offered. But when they do come into the probation office, because a lot of them, when they are released, they do have probation obligations. My role, for one, would be whew, we wear so many hats, but
Yes, ma'am.
far as the reentry piece, probation plays a heavy role, whether it's assisting with housing, mental health services. You have individuals who need assistance with substance abuse. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you have the adjustments and to structure and independence that you have to assist and support these individuals through. And then it's more so meeting them where they are because you have to deal with the education barriers. You have some individuals who don't know how to formulate a resume, they just don't
Okay.
have the education, so sometimes you may have to sit and read, or you may have to sit there and put your pride aside and help someone write their name. Something
Mm-hmm.
was that. So the reentry piece is very heavy in probation. You have to formulate positive and supportive relationships, even with their family, just to make sure that the families understand what reentry looks like from their perspective and not more so your perspective. We may have our own opinions of what it looks like, but you have to take yourself and put yourself in their shoes. Okay. Just something as simple as technology. Okay. That's
Okay.
always advancing and changing. So if we think about way back in the day where we had the dial up internet and we had to wait for AOL to load up and dial up, that's funny, but you have individuals who have been incarcerated since that period of time.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
you take that individual and then you release them into society, and they're looking at this like, wow, this is a whole new world. This is something different. Where do I start? Where do I begin? So probation starts them from the beginning. We introduce them. We do group intake where we would share what probation will look like. We prepare reentry packets. You have individuals, like I said, who don't know where to start. So in that packet, it takes them from day one, step by step. Um, do you have an ID? Do you have a cell phone? We have programs that assist individuals with obtaining a free cell phone. Um, there's a program for transportation. Do you have your Medicaid? Do you have health insurance? So, we're continuously supporting these individuals through these many needs and many services.
Okay. What cases or populations are most common in your district? What do you see mostly?
So I see a lot of general case. No, so let me ask this: when you say what cases, are you referring to like charges, criminal history?
Charges and gender. And
Okay.
gender. Mm-hmm.
So in our district, I do see a lot of males who have been incarcerated. There has been an influx in women incarceration as well. Far as the charges, there are a lot of drug possession, grand larceny, theft. Um, I have a couple of murder cases that I handle myself. And then you have some of the more sensitive cases that involve children, you know, and then, of course, the gang related cases as well. But on my caseload, I can see there is a great influx in drug charges, possession of Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. So
Mm-hmm.
that is heavy in the population.
So, with your caseload, all that you deal with, how does Carla, um, how do you keep yourself from burning out?
Well, self care.
Okay,
You have
talk to
to
me about
you
it.
have to take care of yourself before. This is a helpful but thankless, they say, job, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in order for me to be able to support someone, I have to make sure that I'm healthy. Am I eating right? Am I practicing my religion faithfully? If am I exercising my faith? Am I getting my physical exercise? Am I getting enough sleep to prepare for my next day? And then, of course, as far as preparing for my next day, I'm looking at my planner. I'm mentally preparing myself for my next day. Okay, I have to see this person. I know this person is dealing with this. We're a little lengthy, so I know to space my scheduling out for certain people based on what they may bring to the table.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, I, I have
Oh,
I have to mentally prepare and physically take care of myself before I can sit before someone else and take on that extra load and
mm-hmm.
try to help someone work through their differences or the obstacles that the world is throwing at them. So that's
Okay.
what I do with
All
that.
right. So, you mentioned services. Do probation and parole department provide these services? Or are you relying upon community resources?
So no, community partners are our biggest help.
Yes.
Biggest.
Mm-hmm.
So we receive services through many substance abuse treatment programs.
Okay.
We within DOC we do have the community residential programs of our own, but we also have community residential programs that we would reach out to as well. You have some of the transitional homes, you have some of the halfway houses, the group homes. Um, and then we also partner with different employers. We have employers that are actually second chance employers. So
Yes.
sometimes a lot of probation officers, we do a lot of self networking to bring in
Mm-hmm.
new partners just to have more resources and let them know about our population and just to see what they bring to the table. We partner with the Community Service Board, a lot of different mental health treatment providers, just to sometimes make sure our probationers are receiving the mental health as well as the substance abuse treatment because those two go hand in hand. So yes,
Yes.
we definitely heavily rely on our community partners. Without our community partners, we would not be successful in probation because I couldn't
Yes.
come up with all this stuff on my own.
So we can readily agree reentry is everybody's business.
It's
It's
everybody's
everybody.
business. We have to work together in order to one promote public safety as well as
Yes.
support the individuals that we support, right? Um,
Yes.
so we definitely have to work together, and as people, we have to understand at the end of the day, these individuals they're human. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, everyone in life has made some type of mistake. It doesn't
Yes.
matter the nature or how severe it is, or if you're heavy and deep in your religion now, at some point in time, you went against your religion and you went against your faith. So, with that being considered, you have to remember nobody's too high on the horse. Okay,
Hmm.
people are
Hmm.
people, humans are humans, and they should be treated as such. And that's just how I handle my caseload. When we sit
Yes.
and we have conversations, we have meaningful conversations. I like to tell them, look, we're going to keep it real.
Yes.
This might be a little, but we're going to keep it real.
Yes, ma'am. So I heard you mention all kind of services. Are you ever involved in family reunifications meetings because you're getting them the job, the housing, the mental health? But
Hmm.
how are they being reconnected with their families as
Okay.
they make this journey back into the community? Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, far as family reunification, probation and parole does actually have a family reunification that they would do monthly. That's something
Okay.
we just got into. So, they are doing a family reunification, and during that period of time, we're inviting the family members out. They are um, invited to come out. We have, of course, mild refreshments. That's always everybody's favorite. But during that time, we walk them through what probation and parole looks like through the probation officer's lenses, but as well as through the actual probationer's lenses, so they can get a more clearer understanding of what this individual may face or what obstacles or challenges they may face, especially when it comes to employment. There are plenty of employment barriers. So when these individuals come out, they're not able to just apply for a job like you and I because we have a nice resume. They have charges, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking to them about the bonding program and what that program entails and what that looks like. Um, just letting them know what probation entails in general, so they are aware it's not going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
It may be a period of time of 6 to 8 months before this individual is even employed. So we bring them out so they can understand that family support is definitely needed,
Yes.
because far as all the challenges that they face, one of the biggest challenges is the fear of failure and the loss of
Mm-hmm.
confidence. And with family supports, that's going to help them want to push to do better.
Okay. All right. What challenges do the individuals face with adapting to reentry? What
Well,
challenges are you seeing more that they face
so we
besides
mhm.
the, fe- the fear of failure? And
so
go ahead. Go ahead.
so I spoke mildly on the employment barriers, but the housing inability, that is a big one because once the individuals return, there are limited and unsafe housing options. And so when I say limited and unsafe, I say that in a way where I'm not trying to be demeaning, but I'm just telling you how it is.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of residential properties, they don't accept felons. So you're kind of putting that individual back in a space where
Mm-hmm.
they're more prone to reoffend. So you have the housing inability, you have the employment barriers, and then you have the individuals who deal with mental health and substance abuse needs. Um, some mental health needs may have been untreated for a certain period of time, as well as the substance abuse. So you have to deal with the mental health, you have to deal with the trauma that comes along with that, the substance abuse disorders, adjustment to the structure that we spoke mildly on that coming in, just adjusting to society in general. Things change, technology change, people change. Um, then, of course, limited accesses to services like navigating transportation, trying to get settled with healthcare enrollment, and just dealing with social services could be a headache for them. Dealing with paperwork, that's
Yes.
something different for a lot of people. Like I said, you have the individuals who lack the education needed to even understand a simple application.
Yes.
So also, I see a lot of rebuilding of the relationships within the family and children. Those are barriers as well, that kind of get in the way because you have the individuals, they've spent maybe 18 years away from their family and away from their children. So they're coming home solely focused on, okay, I want to see my daughter. Okay, we're going to do this. But they have to relearn their child. They have to relearn their family. They have to
Mhm.
relearn their loved ones. Then they have to deal with, if it's a child involved, they have to deal with the pressure that that child is going to put on them because you have you have that they have the trauma of the absence of the parent, and you see a lot of individuals dealing with um, oh, the child, they don't want anything to do with me. I don't know what to do. So I like to coordinate family counsel when I see that. So that kind of works out. And then you have the financial pressure. When you add that, you're talking about court costs. They're already struggling with trying to find employment. So now, oh, my probation had told me, my probation officer
Yes.
said I got
Yes.
court costs and I got restitution and I can't get off probation if I don't pay my restitution, but I have to pay rent because I'm getting out
Yes.
of room. But how
Yes.
I'm going to afford my rent for this month, and I'm still looking for employment. So
Mm-hmm.
these are all the things and many challenges and barriers that are thrown upon them. And then, like I said, it's easy for you and I. We get up, we go to work, and we
Mm-hmm.
get our check on the first 15. But I'm making fun of it. But the reality of it is that they face these many challenges and barriers and obstacles, and then when it comes to we do have second chance employers, but if you throw in, okay, now we have the second chance employer, but there are certain charges that aren't accepted with some
That's
second,
exactly right.
right, so that's another barrier. So you know there's a lot of
Yeah.
things they deal with that we just have to help them work through that and know that, hey, I always tell them you'll get a million no's and that it'll take that one yes and you'll be on your way. Even
You explained it so well. And I was sitting here thinking they're really stronger to make it through and face all of that and make it through to the other side of it. They're stronger than they even know
they are.
because the average person just could not do it. Not according to their own strength. I don't believe so. Um, but you also brought back a memory which started me on this journey of wanting to start a transitional program for women because as a COG officer, my job when they were being released after the 90 days of programming was to transport them to the bank to get to cash their check, and many didn't know how to cash a check.
Right.
So I had to go up there and assist them in cashing their check and take them to the bus station to catch a bus to wherever they were going. But Many times they were torn. They were happy, but yet scared and full of anxiety. Number one, they were being released back into, most of the time, the same familiar environment, which contributed to their being incarcerated.
Right.
Number two, with a female, it wasn't like, bring me a pair of pants and a shirt and some sneakers, and my girl's gonna pick me up and we're gonna have a good time. She had the wear and the concern of what? Her children. How am I gonna get custody? Where am I going to live? How am I gonna meet my probation requirements?
Mm-hmm.
What employment am I going to have? And back then, it was very limited for women. I'm hoping it has increased. Can you speak to me about that? The services that are offered for female probation.
So
Probation.
yes. So I shared briefly about the community residential program. So I heard you say back in the day, you had to
Back in the day,
transport
man.
them, and you had to take them to the bank and tell them, take them where they need to go.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
things have changed slightly, and I'm so thankful that we do have the community residential programs now, that their counselor, before they are released, they would get with their counselor, and they will come up with a reentry plan, of course, implementing their family as well. The community residential programs, they, like I said before, they're the group homes, the halfway houses, and some of the non-restricted facilities that are in the community. DOC will partner with. They will offer employment, coaching, job coaching, referrals for education assistance, medical assistance, counseling, substance abuse treatment, as well as the mental health treatment. So that is available to our females as well. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Speak to me about job opportunities. The male offender gets out, he can learn driving tractor trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Pays pretty good money. He should be able to take care of himself just as well as his family. What are the opportunities that you've seen readily available for women where they can actually make the same amount of pay? Maybe not do the same job, but make that money, the necessary money to be able to be independent and provide for their families.
Right. So, just being honest, there's not many, there's not many programs, and we're going to have to make a shift and a change, to implement a little bit more, because just like you said, being honest, a lot of programming is geared more towards men that I've seen in my time, and that's, it could be more so because I've worked with the male population inside. So I know inside, I've seen the barbering schools and I've seen the CDL programs, but a
Mhm.
lot of those programs, they aren't geared towards women. So we need to push more so for that, um, because a lot of our women, there's a great influx in incarceration in the female society
Yes.
nowadays. So that has gone up heavily. So we are going to have to implement a little more grant a little more programming, excuse me, geared towards our females. For example, they do have, I do know they do have, cosmetology. They can get into that.
Yes.
So they do have that programming. But far as we have women now, they want to drive trucks too.
Yes.
I know women, they drive trucks better than the men. So, I'm just being honest. So,
Women want to make money.
they want to make money,
Yes,
and the CDL industry is taking over. They are making that money. The guys are coming out with their certifications, and they're making that money. I do know the Flagger program. That's something that's always been offered, kind of, sort of, on both sides. So that's something they also can do and get a certification for that. But for our women population, we have to implement a little bit more, geared towards their needs. Um, Especially, you said something about, when they're coming out and they have their children, but they have to regain that custody. You
yes,
touched me with that one, because I have someone now that I have to work and find resources to push that person in the right direction, because that individual has spent a great amount of time away, and she's doing amazing, amazing now. And her only focus is, I want my child. How
Yes.
do I do that? How do I do that? What do I do? What are the steps? And like I tell her, well, first we need to work on you, get you together. And this is what that
Yes.
should look like. What do you think? What do you think you should do? So we kind of go at it at that angle. But absolutely, I agree. More resources and more jobs for the women.
Oh, Miss Davis. Oh, thank you for what you do. All that you do. Now you are making a dynamic difference in your department.
Well, I thank
If you
you.
had a wish list, if you were granted a wish, not a wish list, a wish.
Okay. Okay. You want my list? Oh my goodness.
No, I don't want your list. I understand having a list. I don't want your list. I just want to know if it was one thing you would implement or one thing you would change that would make your role more effective and successful. What would it be?
Mm. More grace on a superficial level.
Wow.
And I would say more grace because we do so much. We wear so many hats. And
Hmm.
I'm just being honest. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming. Okay. Um to I'll speak on me. To take on so much, right? You take in so much from others, and then you still have to go home. You still have to be a wife, a aunt, a sister, and you have to learn how to take that off so you don't bring that home. That can be a bit overwhelming. It can be
Yes.
overwhelming, but when you think about what you do at the end of the day, it's very rewarding. It's
Very.
very rewarding. So I would ask for a little more grace um, within the department, just a little more grace, because cases don't stop. The
Yeah.
work doesn't
Yeah.
stop. It's nonstop. So, you know, um, I like to say, you always have to remember where you came from and where you started as you move up the ladder. Just always remember, once upon a time, I was boots on the ground.
Yes.
If you were ever boots on the ground, but just
Yes.
remember what that feels like, and when you were in that in that person's shoes, what that job entailed, and what what do you think that person could be dealing with, or what obstacles could they be facing. So I just say a little more grace and a little more compassion to others, and I
And
think
you
that
say
keeps it going.
from the department perspective, I want to add to that and say from the public perspective,
Yes,
from our churches, come on, more grace,
more
more
grace.
more understanding, because I always say, Lord, if it had not been for you,
Mm.
it could have been me. In fact, many days he showed me. There you go, right over there. And it gave me the compassion I needed to deal with that individual, to understand why they were acting out the way they did. So I have thoroughly enjoyed you, and thank you for accepting the invitation. And I look forward to seeing you physically and working
Yes,
with you very
ma'am.
soon.
I want to say thank you for having me. I definitely enjoyed this podcast and this moment to be able to present, and I'm hoping that we've actually reached someone in the community, or we were able to change or shift someone's perspective of a probationer, or
Yes.
someone who was once incarcerated, an individual who was released into our society. Let's not call them probationers because they're humans, right?
Yes,
Are the
yes.
people that's
So,
working in our McDonald's and Taco Bells and making our food.
most definitely.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So, do you have any contact information you would like to leave for the viewers? Someone may want to reach out to you with a question.
Okay. So if there's any questions, sure, I'll leave my personal phone number. I can be reached. You want me to give it to you or just go ahead and give it out live?
Go ahead and give it out.
So if there are any personal questions, I can be reached at 757-798-0592, or you can email your question directly at carlaj302@gmail.com.
Thank you, ma'am, and you have a wonderful night, okay?
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I really enjoyed the interview. I hope something was said and shared that really bless your heart or that will resonate with you. And we look forward to next Tuesday, and go out and have and share just a little more grace, some compassion, much needed, as she stressed during the interview. And you all have a wonderful night.